Hey friends, welcome back to the Freelance Experience. It's episode 9, turning one-off assignments into long-term editor relationships. I'm Erica, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about the crucial topic of building a sustainable freelance career and how you can do that by turning those one-off assignments into those ongoing relationships with editors. So this is one of the biggest secrets to creating stability in your freelance business and just like creating future opportunities for yourself. And it's not something that you can just make happen. It's something that you have to intentionally build into what you're doing on a regular basis. So instead of constantly chasing new clients and fresh editors, you're going to start building a portfolio of editors that trust you, of potential clients that you can reach out to when you need new work. And you're going to become someone that they also can rely on to send you work, to send others to you, to come to you with potential assignments. So let's get started and learn how we can make this happen for ourselves. These long-term relationships really matter. So first, let's talk about why it's important. Long-term relationships with editors and others that are in your network for potential jobs, they can save you time. That means you don't have to always pitch from scratch. Woohoo, that's the dream, right? Not having to pitch from scratch and sort of having a rapport with someone where they already know a little about you or already trust you a little bit, like that's huge and it makes it so much easier. Secondly, it can provide a more consistent income. If you become a go-to writer for repeat work or go-to for projects or one-off work, that is something that you can rely on. Great example for me is there's an organization that I have worked with several times in the past, sometimes for one-off projects, sometimes for filling in on maternity leave, sometimes for month to month. Well, I haven't been working with them for quite a while because the project I was working on got defunded. Long story, not important. But they just came to me the other day and they said, we're looking to build a stable of writers for this new thing that we're doing. Are you interested in being a part of it? Awesome. Of course, I'm interested in being a part of it. I didn't even know it was happening. And they came to me. And that's because I've been a reliable, consistent person that checks in and they know they can trust. And I will tell you, I had just sent an email to someone from the organization probably a month ago where I just checked in. I said, hey, how you guys doing? Just want to check in and see if there's any projects that you're working on that you need someone that I could be a part of. And at the time, she wrote back and said, oh, we don't have anything right now, but I'll keep you in mind or whatever. Well, a month later, I get an email and now I've got a new project. And that's all because I just took the time to send like a 30-second email. I was top of mind because I sent that email. So that is key. And that's happened multiple times with that place. So also you build your credibility this way. You start getting recommended, people pass your name around. You become like, oh, what about Erica? She's written about that before. What about Erica? She could do that for us. You honestly just become sort of a staple person that comes up when they need someone, and that is invaluable. So if you think about it this way, every one-off assignment is really a chance to lay groundwork for something bigger. And it all starts with just delivering good work. And that's what you do. So as I say, even a rejection is a step forward because you become one bit more familiar with whoever rejected you. So you're not just a random person anymore. You're the person that pitched this story. And maybe that's going to key something off to them later and they're going to remember you. You just never know what's going to come your way from the seeds that you plant. So, the way you begin these relationships, number one, you can just start with your network, like your LinkedIn network, your Facebook network, people you know in real life, and just sort of start putting yourself out there as someone that's available to do this stuff, right? But if you're working with a new editor or a new person, the first step is doing a great job on the first assignment, project, or writing that you do for them. The first step is turning that one-off relationship into something great is by doing the work well. You meet the deadlines, you even turn them in early if possible. Editors, as we've talked about, love writers who respect their timelines and deadlines because they got bosses too, and they need to get the work in. You follow exactly what it is they want you to do. So if they ask you to write in a certain way, if there is a certain style, or they say follow this sort of curriculum or whatever it may be, make sure you actually do that. Follow the rules. Deliver exactly what it is this editor or assignment person asked you for. Don't be afraid to ask clarifying questions if needed. That's something I want to highlight, because I work with students who they'll reach out to me and say, well, what about this? And I'll be like, well, did you ask? And they'll say no, they're afraid to ask questions. Do not be afraid to ask questions. You need to get clarity. You need to know exactly what they want, or you're going to turn in the wrong thing and they're not going to want to work with you again. So just, if you must put a sorry to ask, you can, although I would just say not to do that, although I do that sometimes, but just ask questions. It's okay. People understand. We're all human. Get clear about it, and you'll be able to do a great job, and then you'll keep that relationship going. And lastly, just be professional, communicate clearly, be polite, be responsive, do what needs to be done. And really, like, when you're doing an assignment for someone for the first time, like, be extra, all of those things. Over deliver on your first assignment. Do more than necessary, even more than you were paid for. You want to show that person that you're a good person to work with, that you are reliable, and you're setting this great tone and rapport for future work. Next thing you want to be able to do is ask for feedback. After you submit your work, don't be afraid to ask for feedback from the editor or the person in charge. Editors and those in charge actually appreciate those who want to improve. They appreciate someone who asks questions and sort of is even ahead of them in terms of improving the product or whatever it may be. So ask those questions and get the answers you need to do an even better job. You could put it simply like this: thank you so much for this opportunity to work with you on this piece or this project. If you have any feedback or ways that I can improve for future assignments or anything like that, I would love to hear it. I'm open to feedback. That's great. That's an invitation to further that relationship, right? You're going to make an even more inroads in that relationship. Now, not everyone is going to write you back. Not everyone is going to have suggestions, but for those that do and those that appreciate it, you are going one step further with that relationship. It shows that you're open to learning, but also it subtly positions you as someone that's looking ahead to more collaborations. Like, you're letting them know, hey man, don't forget about me. I'm ready to work with you again. So step 3 here is you're going to stay top of mind. After you've done an assignment, your job isn't done. To build a long-term relationship with someone, you've got to kind of stay on their radar. So what do you want to do? Send a thank you email is a great idea. Just thanks for the opportunity. People don't do that. Believe it or not, people don't do that. And it goes a long way. You want to stand out. You can also follow up with new ideas, whether it be a story idea, a service idea. Pitch something within a month so that you're still fresh on their mind. And maybe they're still more open to working with you. And then engage professionally. So if an editor posts on social media, if whoever the person in charge was posts somewhere, LinkedIn or in groups, comment, share occasionally, maintain a connection. If you see something that would be beneficial to them, oh, thought of you, just want to send this over. I thought it might be helpful. Keeping people top of mind like that helps them keep you top of mind, right? So it may take a couple extra minutes from time to time, but when you can be intentional about, like, how can I be sort of strengthening these connections that I have with people that matter, that can get me these jobs, get me these potential writing opportunities, it is worth the time and attention you put into it. Thoughtfulness is underrated and not practiced enough. Step 4, be a go-to resource. So like we've talked about already with niche, to become a go-to writer, because you have a niche or an expertise in an industry, think about how you can make someone's job easier. This is great. Like, if you can go and say, I'm going to fix this problem for you, or I'm going to do this thing for you that you need done, like, become the solution. Okay. So for example, you can start by being consistent, turning in good, reliable work, obviously. Then you can sort of pick their brain with the feedback question from the previous step, and then pitch ideas or services or whatever it may be that are tailored to the things that you've picked up on that they say they need. So, you may just be having a casual conversation with someone, but but find those keywords and think about what you can pitch in the future. Like if you can actually even use keywords that you've picked up on in your conversation in a pitch, like that's going to go a long way because it's going to tell them that you listened. And even if they don't remember saying something to you, you're tapping into like this inner conscious and they're going to be more inclined to say yes. And then also be flexible. If an editor needs a turnaround, if there's like a tricky assignment, if there's some like extra thing they need you to do, you want to be the person that they think of to do those things. You want to be easy to work with and not somebody like we want to make money, right? But we don't always want to be nitpicking about the money. Like go above and beyond so that you're not only top of mind, but like the editor doesn't have to worry about all the extra details that may come with working with a more complicated person, if that makes sense. Next up, step 5 is to diversify your relationships. It is awesome to have long-term relationships with a few editors, but you really don't want to have all your eggs in one basket when it comes to editors, when it comes to, industry people, business people. You want to always be building new connections while continuing to nurture the ones that you have. I understand this can sound a little bit overwhelming to someone that may feel like they're an introvert or what have you. But a lot of these relationships and connections can be built online within groups over email. It doesn't have to be a lot of phone calls or meetings. Although I do think you should be doing some of those regularly because that in-person connection is far stronger than an online connection. But just like you can never have enough of a network. Like your network is so key to building jobs long-term that you get to the point. I mean, I wouldn't say like I'm at the peak or anything, but I feel like every time I'm at a point where I'm like, man, I kind of need to pick up something always comes my way. And that's partially because I've built this network. It's also because I keep myself top of mind and I will email people and I will engage with people and I will just put it out there and make sure people are aware. So keep building those new connections. So pitch to your publications and businesses that you know, but pitch to new ones too. Think outside the box. Network with other writers and editors in your niche because they will tell you about opportunities. And then keep a tracking system. We talked about this. A Google Sheets is all you need, or a spreadsheet of some kind. Somewhere where you have the details about people that are in your network that matter. That's easily something you can go to. You can remember little things about someone. You can see the last time that you actually communicated with them and bring that up. Great example that reminds me of this. Like we go to my kids' doctor. They just have a child well visit once a year, right? And we see the same doctor and, he's seeing patients every day. But this guy has a note, like a chart and some notes about our family in his chart. So whenever we go in for the appointment, I don't expect him to know anything about me, but he always, every year, says, oh, how's the writing going? And just the fact that he remembers that I'm a writer and I wrote a book, like he probably asked me at one point and he wrote it down in his notes. He doesn't actually remember that, right? But the fact that he brings it up because he's written in his notes, it makes me feel special. And it makes me feel like he actually cares more, even though he probably doesn't. So it's interesting, what those kind of like thoughtful things can do for you. So recapping from today's episode, to turn one-off assignments into long-term editor relationships, you got to nail that first assignment by doing more than necessary and being super professional, being prompt, being polished. You're going to ask for feedback to show that you're committed to improvement and also subtly hint like, hey, open for other gigs in the future. You're going to stay top of mind by following up and engaging professionally, keeping other people in mind, got those thoughtful little things that you're tracking so that you can communicate with someone and make them feel remembered and special. Number 4, you're going to make yourself indispensable as a go-to writer. You're the writer that's easy to work with, that could turn around something quick, that can do a good job without too much editing. If you can do that, you're going to make someone's life easier and you're going to get more assignments. Number 5, you're going to diversify your relationships to keep your career moving. Do not let yourself sit in the mud. Keep going, keep building those relationships. I don't know about you, but I feel like, I don't know, I'm like sort of invigorated when I meet new people that make sense to network with, or somebody that I can reach out to. I happen to be, as I'm recording this right now, in California at a speaking event, and I met several people that are going to be helpful, I think, to me in the future, including a person, the producer of this video this video project speaking gig that I'm doing, who I was just chatting with her. She starts telling me about a podcast that she's working on for her business, and saying that they need to hire writers. And I said, "Oh, really?" And she said, "Yeah, like, I know you're a writer. Like, are you interested in writing work?" Ding, ding, ding. Yes, I am. And she's like, "Yeah, well, let's connect. Like, let's email." So when I get home, I'm going to email this girl, and it's going to turn into a new assignment. So that is the power of always keeping that in mind and networking constantly. So, in our next episode, we are going to wrap up this series with sort of a review of all these things, but also how Bragworthy Bylines, my signature program, can help you take everything we've talked about here and turn it into a 6-figure freelance writing business. If you're ready to take the next step, you don't want to miss it. And as always, thank you for listening. Please share the podcast with friends. Let's grow this community of confident, successful freelancers together. Let's empower each other to make money doing what we love, customizing our work and our services, working for the causes that we care about. It's so cool that we live in a place and a time when this is possible. I will see you next time.